question and answers at the end. The only thing we would say, if you have any kind of pertinent questions of a personal nature, it's probably best to just initiate contact separately in relation to that. The purpose of the question and answer really is just if you have general questions on anything specific that you see in the presentation here, you will be able to ask any questions, and I'm going to be charting the chat monitor there myself, and I'll ask any pertinent questions as they arise throughout the presentation. So feel free to ask some questions in the chat function when the time comes. So just on the next slide, just to give you a sense of where all of our students are coming from, a lot of parents and a lot of our incoming students are quite surprised to see the diverse nature of our student body when they come in and join us in first year. So you can see in the slide there, we have students coming from 29 different feeder schools right up and down the length and breadth of County Wexford. So we have a lovely balance between those who are coming obviously from Wexford Town primary schools, and then coupled with that then all of the students coming from our country schools, north, south, west, east, wherever you name it. You can see it there, it's like a United Nations of primary schools. And I have the great privilege and pleasure of going out visiting the schools every year and meeting the principals, meeting sixth class teachers, and more importantly, meeting our prospective and incoming students. So I'm hoping I will get to see you after the Easter. My visits will be staggered on an ongoing basis between April, May, and the end of June when you get your summer holidays. So if you've got any pertinent questions that may arise as time goes on, I hope to see you. Obviously, COVID-19 restrictions in place in your schools as well, but I still hope to meet you in a socially distant way as much as possible. So the next slide, just to give you a bit of a heads up in relation to a platform that was put in place for our incoming students last November. We were due to have a physical open evening in our school this year, but it wasn't possible with the COVID-19 restrictions. So we created a digital interactive platform in place. And this, as you can see on the slide there, this went live last November. So there was lots of different things, lots of different videos about the subject choice. Our head girl team will bring you on a virtual tour of the school building. That platform is still live. I am aiming to upload more material on that between now and the end of August by the time you're going to be joining the school. So do keep an eye on it. This presentation will be posted up on the website afterwards as well. And you can just click on that link and that'll bring you directly into it as well. Also, in addition to that too, we also come up with an information pack that's aimed towards parents and guardians as well. The difference this time is that normally these information evenings are held in our concert hall every January, but obviously with the COVID-19 restrictions, it wasn't possible to have that this year. So our information packs, which are normally given out at the end of the information meeting in the concert hall, they're going to be now posted out to you at the end of this school year. So you will be receiving that in due course. And I think the next slide will show that, what they give you a sense of what the school is about, just providing you information on timetabling and so on and so forth. Okay, you can see it there in front of you. Do bear with us. So it is going to be sent out to the home address that has been put on your application form. And that what we have on our system in the general office. So you can look forward to receiving that at some point towards the end of May, start of June, when secondary schools are finishing up their academic year. So that's my spiel. I look forward to seeing the incoming students in the comforts of their own primary schools. Fingers crossed, all going well after Easter. So it'll be at some point, I'll be going out to all the 29 feeder schools. I'll be talking with sixth class teachers, talking with the principals, and then more importantly, talking with you. So if you've got any questions for me, feel free to ask me on any aspect of school life. I do look forward to seeing you. And I look forward to getting in the car again and journeying to all parts of the county. It's one of the great privileges that I have in this current role that I have. So I'm going to pass you over to our head girl team now. Elizabeth and Jamie are two of our 4 students that are involved in our head girl team for 2020-2021, and they're just going to give you a short welcome. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the information evening and sit back and be comfortable and listen to what everyone has to say. Okay, enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Benson and I'm one of the deputy head girls here at Presentation Wexford. Although we already have an excellent relationship between our students and staff, the head girl team creates a direct link between the students and school management. This allows any queries or concerns of the student body to be communicated quickly and efficiently. I can't believe I'm in my final year at Presentation Wexford. Time really does fly by, but I have so many great memories to carry with me. And I'm so grateful for the caring learning environment that this school has created. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and I am the head girl here at Presentation Wexford. Like Jamie, I'm shocked at how quickly the years have gone by, but I will always remember my years here fondly. I will cherish the friends and memories here, but I will also miss every aspect of the school. The smiling faces of teachers and staff, the encouraging words on a stressful day, and the little community we've created. I will miss being a part of it, but as one chapter ends, another opens. Hopefully your daughters will come to this school and enjoy all it has to offer. From forever friendships to every school activity, Presentation Wexford is a community of learning and growing to the person you'll be, the person I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Jamie. Up next, we have two first-year students, Ella Dempsey from Wrong Ashling and Rihanna Gooden from Wrong Ava. So whenever you're ready, girls.
Hi everyone, I'm Ella Dempsey, a first-year student here in Presentation Secondary School, Wexford. I was delighted to have been asked to speak to you all about my experience in first year and to give you an idea of what your new school will be like. On my first day here, I was extremely nervous, but also very excited to start a new school and make new friends. One of my first days here was the first year introduction day. At the first year introduction day, you get to learn how to use your iPad, play games, start getting to know people from your base class, and meet some of your teachers and MEHA leaders. During my first few weeks here, I had a lot of worries, such as, what if I don't make new friends, and what if I don't do well in my classes? But with help from my teachers and MEHA leaders, all of those worries went away. One of my favorite things about school is lunchtime. Not only is it a break from classes, but I also get to have a chat with my friends, some of whom who aren't in my base class. I also love walking around the Walsh Way at lunchtime with friends, as it is a great way to get some exercise and get some fresh air. When you start secondary school, there's a lot of changes. For example, iPads. iPads are a big change, but I enjoy using them. I find it easier to learn when using iPads, and I also find the lessons more interesting and fun. It is also a lot easier to carry around an iPad instead of a ton of books. Another one of the changes in secondary school is the option subjects. I enjoy option subjects as they give you a chance to learn new skills and the subjects you mightn't have done in primary school, such as home ec and French. After your first few weeks here, you will be assigned a homework buddy. Your homework buddy is for when you forgot what the homework was or for when you missed a class. It is also a great way to make friends. My first year experience was way different to others for obvious reasons. Everyone was wearing masks, no extracurricular activities, and half of it was online. But thanks to the teachers and MEHA leaders, it was still extremely fun. My advice to incoming first years is to stay organized, don't be afraid to talk to different people, and remember, everyone is in the same boat. I wish you all the best in starting secondary school, and I look forward to seeing you all in September.
Thank you, Ella. Rihanna.
My name is Rihanna Gooden, and I'm a current first-year student at Presentation Secondary School, Wexford. I'm here to talk to you about my time in first year. I came from Pearsestown National School, a small school with around 200 students and 30 members of staff. So moving into a much bigger school with 800 students and 80 members of staff was a big change. When I started first year, I had my own set of worries. One of them was getting lost around the school and not being able to find my classes on time. I thought it would be hard to find my way around, but it turned out to only take a week, which was shorter than I expected. The rooms are easy to find, and staff are certain to help you if you can't find your class. Secondly, I was also worried about not being in any classes with my friends. I was lucky to get in the same base class as my friends, but I wasn't with any of them for any of my optional subjects. I was thinking I would be alone, but I quickly made friends with some of the other students. Thirdly, I worried that I wouldn't be able to cope with the amount of subjects or homework. 14 subjects, 5 or 6 a day, I was thinking that the amount of homework would be too much for me to handle. The teachers helped us with this by gradually increasing the amount of homework given. I got used to this and learned how to divide my time amongst my subjects. Despite my worries, I was excited to start secondary school in the presentation and to see what it was like. There was a lot of things I didn't expect. For example, MEHA leaders, tutor time, and the canteen. One of the changes I found useful were my MEHA leaders. There are a couple of 6-year students per first year class. They helped us feel welcome and answered any questions or concerns we had. Our MEHA leaders also organise fun activities for us. For example, festive Christmas store competitions and dressing up for Halloween with us. Secondly, I was interested by tutor time. This is time after your little break each day to spend time with your tutor. They make sure you are settling in okay and aren't having trouble with anything. Lastly, I would like to say some things that I like about the presentation. I like the amount of new subjects they offer up to first years that weren't available in primary school. I also like the canteen and the food they serve. Finally, I like the teachers and how welcoming they've been. Thank you.
Thank you, Rihanna, and thank you to Ella and also to Elizabeth and to Jamie. My name is Ryan and I'm the principal here in Presentation Wexford. Just if you missed anything tonight, I know we're having issues with entries into a Zoom tonight. We thought we could let in more than 100, but there seems to be an issue, but we are recording it. So we will be putting that up on our website what we're going through tonight. But if there's anybody contacting you out there that can't get in, can you just explain to them that we're having technical issues at the moment, but it is being recorded and will be available on the website tomorrow. So our motto here in the school is our best always, and something that we try to live by every day, from teachers to students to ancillary staff to everyone that comes into the building. Is something that we ask all of our students to achieve, and ask them to do their best every day. And if their best is what they can do, then that's all that we ask of them, but academically, extracurricular, and in every capacity in school. So as the girls are coming in, just to keep you aware, we have 3 buildings, as Mr. Olsen mentioned earlier on, that will all be available in the pack that is coming in. But we're currently having a 3rd building built. It's in construction mode at the moment, and it will be available to your daughters when they come in September. So that's including a science lab and prep room and extra classrooms, and that's completed this summer. And it's due to the ever increasing demand in Wexford town, and some of you are very, very familiar with the application process for the schools in the area and the huge waiting lists that are there. What I would ask, that not that we think that there are anybody out there with 2 places at this moment in time. However, if anybody is holding 2 places for any particular reason, not just in Wexford town, but is holding a school place in New Ross or holding a school place in Bridgetown or anywhere like that, could you please inform those schools of which school you are actually taking. And we got 385 applicants for 150 places for September 2021. That's 235 more applicants than we have. Our waiting list is still at 200 for September 2021. So that's just not this school, but it's also the schools in the town, from Salisbury College to Loretto, and also for the boys' schools of St. Peter's and CBS. So please, if you are holding 2 places and you were lucky enough to hold 2 places, could you please let the schools know? Thank you. So that's the new build. Just to inform you that you are sending your daughter to a Catholic school, which is under the trustee of Kesht, which is Catholic Education and Irish Schools Trust. We are a voluntary secondary school, and that's where your daughters will be from September this year. The main core values of Kesht are promoting spiritual and human development of the human person, quality in teaching and learning, which we're very, very proud of, and our results keep getting better and better, and we're above the national average in all of our subjects, and also in higher level subjects, but not also that, but we also have increased uptake of students going on to 3rd level, and we were very, very proud of the progression rates this year for our pupils. Probably this one here is showing respect for every person. It's the one thing since I arrived 6 years ago that we ask every student and every member of staff to respect one another. And that's one of the core Kesht values that we have. Creating the community. One of the things, we've just finished a promo video for the school, which will be available in a week or 2 for you to watch as well. And one of the things that I mentioned in the promo video is in relation to community. Elizabeth mentioned it and Jamie mentioned it earlier on. Jamie and Elizabeth started 6 years ago in the school, and any student who leaves always feels with that sense of community and belonging. and they feel proud to have been a presentation student. And hopefully, girls, all of you that are on there tonight with your parents and guardians, that in 6 years' time, you will also feel very proud to have been a presentation student as you go on in your next journey in life. The rest of us here, myself, Mr. Rolson, and Mr. Nugent, and Miss Dooley, and Miss Ryan, and Miss Redmond, the teachers on, we'll be 6 years older, and you'll be 6 years wiser as well as you go on to your next journey in life. And the last one is being just and responsible. Being just and responsible is making sure that you act justly and responsibly in all your relationships, not only with your peers, but also with your teachers, with the caretakers, with the cleaners, with the secretaries in reception, with everybody that you come into contact in the school from the time you come in the morning till the time that you go home. That's what we ask, that you treat them with fairness and you treat them all with respect and be responsible for your actions as well. Excuse me. As I said, 150 incoming first years. So you are one of 150 students, and you'll be coming into a school with 852 students. Next year, it'll actually be 862 students. So some of you are probably coming from primary schools that might have 100, maybe 150 students, and we know that. So you're coming into a building that is much, much bigger, and Miss Dooley will be coming on that later on. Our mission statement here is that, inspired by the vision of Nan O'Neill, our school is committed to the pursuit of excellence in a caring, respectful and inclusive community. As I said, we are a Catholic school, and we are very proud of being a Catholic school. We were founded by the presentation system in 1918, as you know. We are inclusive and respectful of all traditions and other religions, or none. And if a parent guardian has an issue in relation to religious education or religion instruction, you need to either A, meet me, which is kind of hard at the moment, but we can either do it on Zoom or we can do it on Teams, but you need to let me know prior to enrollment in September. Okay, there's an issue there in relation to religious instruction. So the school has a long history and reputation for helping students reach the top of their potential. And we're very, very proud of our successes of our past pupils, and many have gone on to many different things. This is the reason we're all here. Nan O'Neill, the founders of the presentation order. Religious education takes a central place, as I said, and as a school, we pride ourselves in the strong relationships that exist between our students, our parents and guardians, and our dedicated staff. One of the things that I'm very proud of is to see the connection and interaction between teachers on the corridors, also students. There's an air of respect. If I could just ask you folks, if you could mute your mics, please, because there's a little bit of feedback coming back there, and it's hard for me to speak at the same time as hearing the feedback. As I was saying, the interaction on the corridors between students and teachers is something that I'm extremely proud of, and it's an air of respect, and you don't get that everywhere, but the teachers respect the students and the students respect the teachers, and it's something that we're very, very proud of. We encourage you also to actively participate in every area of school life, and remember that each of you are an individual. Yes, you are coming in on your own, but remember, there will be 149 other girls in the exact same position as you next September. Well, actually, the end of August it will be. So we have proud tradition of academic excellence in the school, as I said, and I am fully encourage your daughter to get involved in whatever extracurricular activity that she's involved with. And my door is always open. It mightn't be open at the moment due to COVID restrictions, etc., but hopefully those restrictions will be limited from the time the girls join us. And we look forward to working with you and welcoming 150 new girls into presentation. The other thing about a lot of you here is that a lot of the students who are online tonight, you are probably daughters of past pupils, and or maybe also granddaughters of past pupils, or maybe even great granddaughters of past pupils. And in some cases, you might actually be the granddaughter of a grandfather who went to the school many, many years ago, when we also had a primary school part here that was boys and girls. So long traditions there as well. And remember, girls, you are coming to a school that was founded 200 years ago. in 1818. And we are the first home of education in Wexford, the first secondary school and the first primary school that was founded in the town. And we're in the heart of the town, and we're very, very proud of that location. So your transition to secondary school, some little pieces of advice for parents and for students. You need to find out what are the best channels of communication to stay connected, and Miss Dooley will mention that later on. How you can stay connected with what is happening in school. We do communicate regularly by text message and by email, but also our Facebook account and our Instagram account and our Twitter account are very, very active. So I would encourage all students and parents to start following us on those 3 platforms. You will also need to know who your main contact in the school will be, how you as a parent can help your child with the smooth transition, what are the best transport options for you getting to school, and who will inform you of the protocols and procedures of the new school. These are questions that not just you as a student coming to presentation in September would be asking, but these are questions that every student who's starting secondary school next September will be asking as well, from Sligo to Waterford and back to Wexford again. That right, Mr. Olsen? So girls, just remember, you are one of 150. It's like, for all of us here, it's like starting a job for the first time. You'll be nervous. You don't know what way you're going to react when you come in. You don't know how other people are going to react around you. And to parents, I would say, remind them that they're not the only ones starting secondary school next year, that there is another 149 of them. And you need to remember that line. Some people will pretend that they're not bothered with starting secondary school, and they pretend that they're not nervous, but deep down they actually will be. And every one of us that starts a new job will be nervous, and that's part of life. I moved schools 6 years ago and I came down to Wexford. I didn't know anyone in the school and I was nervous. So every one of us will be nervous as you start a new chapter in your life. Some of the fears that you have at the moment, what did some 6th class students say to me in the past? There are many things you're looking forward to. Some of them is getting a locker, and some of you have many, many concerns. There are many worries. The size of the school and getting lost is one thing, and teachers still get lost. I still get lost 6 years later, and that is the truth. You will also go from being the oldest member in your school to being the youngest. So now at the moment in 6th class, you're at the top of the ladder, but by the end of next August, you will be at the bottom of the ladder again. So you will go from being the oldest in the school to being the youngest. But don't worry, the girls will look after you in school. The different subjects and the amount of homework you will have, and the dreaded Friday homework, because at the moment in primary school, a lot of you wouldn't get homework at weekends, but in secondary school, sometimes you do. You will have a timetable and you will have a lot of rules to follow. You will have studying and you will have exams to do. And in addition to these practical concerns, students also worry about social issues, about friendships, social groupings, and bullying, and not being with your friends in class. And that's a natural worry. What students said about those worries by Easter, I worried I wouldn't have any friends in my class. I worried about my old friends would act differently. And that actually happens, girls. Students that you may have been in primary school in your same class, from 1st class up to 6th class possibly, when they come into secondary school, they may act differently towards you because it's a new system. So just remember that could happen. You won't be, everybody else will be bigger than you. Some of you will worry about being crushed on the corridors because you will be the smallest, but we have a one-way system in operation in the school, so that should allay any fears in terms of being crushed. You worried about being organized. You were worried about being late for class. Some of them worried about not knowing where to go, and some of them worried about teachers being too strict, and some of them worried about the content of new subjects. The important thing to remember is we're all here to help you in your transition and to get you settled and welcomed into school. Okay, so part of that will be you will have a tutor. Miss Dooley will talk about that. You will have a year head. There will be meta leaders who will look after you. There's a head girl system, and you met 2 of them tonight. There are prefects. There's a student council For parents and guardians out there, if you would like to get involved, we have a very active parents council. We have guidance counsellors who will also be there to look after you, and Mr. Nugent will be speaking to you later on. And we also have special education team teachers as well. In terms of extracurricular, I'm not going to go through them all, but every year, the amount of work, effort, and time that our teachers spend doing extracurricular and creating a holistic education for all of you girls is phenomenal. There's basketball, there's Gaelic football, there's soccer, there's camogie, there's equestrian team, there's a deep green writing team, there's a Couch to 5K club, there's a library club as well if you want to be a librarian, there's badminton, and the list just goes on. There's a games club as well for anyone that's into board games, and so on. So please try and get involved as best that you can, and teachers do that outside of their own time. Okay. Now, what's next? So basically, we're a partnership in that our school needs students and students need a school, and we have a home where you live, and we all have to work together in creating an actual community. So what can actually happen at home can have a big effect in school, and vice versa. What can actually happen in school can have an effect at home. So just remember, like all schools, we want our school to be the best school in which you're going to learn, in which you're going to play, and in which you're going to grow between the ages of 12 and 18 years of age. So you're going to be spending 6 years with us girls on Grogan's Road. Just remember that, and you need it to be a happy place. Okay. In relation to subject options, just in relation to those, and you have filled out forms as it is, but students are just beginning first year can be overwhelmed when they learn that they have to study so many subjects. So you'll be studying 10 subjects for your junior cycle. Some of them will be completely new. Some of you won't have done a language before, you won't have done business studies before, you may not have done science, and you may not have done technical graphics, or you may not have done music or home economics, subjects like that. We ask you to read the description of the subjects contained in the information pack that Mr. Olsen made earlier on. And for the optional subjects, we would ask you to choose subjects in which you may already have an interest in. We can offer a wide range of subjects, but not all subjects may run, for example. When choosing subjects, it's very, very important to remember, and this is for parents to guide your students or guide your daughters as well, aptitude, interest, and ability, okay? For example, a student who might be good at cooking at home or baking cakes may not necessarily like the theory end of home economics, because there is a theory end of home economics. So just bear that in mind, and that's just one example. In terms of subjects that you will do, you will have core subjects, which are Irish, English, maths, religion, history, geography, and science. So every student in first year studies those subjects there. You will also have non-core subjects, which are non-examinable subjects. You won't do an exam in them. In PE, SPHE, which is social, personal, health education, CSP, which is civic, social, and political education, computers, you will do drama or choir, and you will have tutor class as well. And Miss Dooley will talk about that in a few minutes. In terms of your optional subjects, you choose 2 from here. So you will do 2 from either French, German, or business studies. Very important to remember that. Spanish was there, but unfortunately, we don't have a Spanish teacher at the moment. So I may not be able to offer Spanish to students in September. Don't panic, don't worry at this moment in time. We don't need you to do anything at this moment, but at the moment, we don't have a Spanish teacher, and we're trying to introduce it into the school, but it's very hard to get a Spanish teacher for just 2 hours a week, okay? So we will be contacting anyone that chose Spanish later on, but you have to do 2 from French, German, or business. Then you choose another 2 from art, business, French, German, technical graphics, home economics, or music, okay? You do 2 here and 2 here, and then when you move into second year, you keep 3 of those 4 on, okay? And the reason French and German is here is that you might decide to do French and German up here, but you want to do business studies as well, so you can choose it down there. Okay. Now, so next year, you will have a base class and the tutor classes, and they all have a name. So for example, you could be in wrong Avnet, or you could be in wrong Clodagh, or you could be in wrong Aiding. In that class, you will be in with another 29 students for your majority of your subjects. Those classes are chosen randomly. They are not chosen by any system. They are not chosen alphabetically. They are chosen at random. We do try to keep students from the same primary school together, well, as many as we can. So for example, if I'm just picking the Balloch, for example, or if we pick Rathangan, if there's only 1 or 2 students coming from those schools, we would try and keep those 2 students together. However, from the likes of the Foyt or the Mercy, you might have 20 girls. We can't put all of them in the same tutor class for obvious reasons. We need to spread them out. But it's not always the case. If there's any reason, now this is the important point right now. If there's any reason that any student should not be put together, we need to be informed of this side of the summer. So for example, in relation to parents and guardians, if your daughter has had an issue with a certain student, another student for the last number of years, and you think that they shouldn't be together in the same base class, there is no point in saying that to us next September. It has to be said to us this side of the summer. And what I mean by is either March, April, or May. June is too late, July is too late, August is too late, and September is too late. The reason being is we have 5 tutor classes with 30 students in it each. We can't move students from back and forth. So any issues, you need to let us know sooner rather than later, okay? Because we've had issues before where parents have only told us end of September and have actually said, well, can you not move them now? And we're like, no, our classes are full. I'd have to move another student from one class to facilitate your daughter, okay? Just so you're warned. Now, Miss Dooley, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Good evening, everybody. As Mr. Ryan said, my name is Miss Dooley or Mary. I would have spoken to some of the parents already on the phone or out of LinkedIn over email. Hello, girls. Looking forward to meeting you all in person in August. But at the moment, you are getting ready for a transition into secondary school. That is a time of great change and adventure. I hope Elizabeth, Jamie, and Ella and Rianne have helped to reassure you and allay some of your fears. It may be a cliche, girls, but it is a start of a new chapter. It is a start of a new chapter of your education journey. Like Elizabeth said, the time went very, very quickly. At the moment, all those pages are blank and it's up to you to fill them in. We haven't met you and we don't know you yet, so it's like starting afresh or starting a new slate. Like Mr. Ryan said, yes, you are in 6th class and you're the top of your school, and you will come to a presentation in Wexford in August, and then you'll be back and you'll be in 1st year. But it is a new beginning, it's a new chapter. We are here to help you to achieve. You need to work hard and to dream and to actually do your best always, like Mr. Ryan said, is the motto in the school. So basically, as part of that, there's going to be a lot of changes, girls. First thing, for example, is you're going to be part of a bigger building. There's going to be 3 different parts in that school building. Also, you're going to meet new teachers. You're going to learn lots of new names. You're also going to be, for example, some of the girls mentioned they were worried about not having friends or not being with their school friends from before. You will, I can reassure you, it's one thing we ask each single year. You will meet new friends. You will make new friends. Don't worry about that. You will have a new uniform, or maybe it's going to be a uniform for the first time. You will get to study new subjects. Once you have picked, you will have a school journal or a school diary, which may be a new experience for you as well. You get the rite of passage of having lockers in school, which for some of you is a great excitement. You get maybe to take a bus to school. And also, as well as that, as Mr. Ryan said, in your year group, you're one of 150 students, but you're also going to be part of a larger school community of 860 students. So you won't get to know them all, but you get to meet some of them along the way, and you'll get to meet different staff members. Next thing, as well as that, there's going to be lots of changes to your school day. There is lots of information in the next few slides, but All this information will be gone back over with you with your meta leaders and your tutors, so don't expect to remember it all this evening. First thing is your school starts at 10 to 9. On Monday and Tuesday, you'll have a longer day than you're used to at the moment because you don't finish school until 10 to 4. And luckily at the moment on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, you're going to finish at 3 o'clock. You have your little break and your lunch break. So your little break is going to be 10 minutes long. Your lunch break will vary on the day, whether it's going to be half an hour, 50 minutes or 40 minutes. The most important part, as some of the girls mentioned, is you have a base classroom. That's the room where you're going to be with the other girls, the other 29 in your class for most of the time. Only, for example, what Rianne says, there'll be different girls in your optional class. You will move between your classes, and certain days then you'll have to bring in extra things. You'll have extra bags to leave in the bag room, whether it's a PE day or maybe if you're doing home economics or you're bringing in things for cookery or for tech graphics or for art. Next thing you have to do is you have to get your uniform. So some of you may have tried on an older sister or cousin's uniform, or also you may have, wanted to try on to get your photograph yourself in your own uniform. So as you're aware, we have a green uniform. You have a choice, girls, between a skirt or school trousers. You get to wear green jumper with a school crest. As you're a junior student, you get to wear the honey gold shirt. You don't change the white shirt until you're in TY. You have a choice of a green school jacket or a fleece. You can wear flat black shoes or brown shoes. You have green socks or black socks. You have a red school scarf. If you do home economics, you have a white apron from economics, and then also you have PE uniform, which some of you look forward to wearing the presentation half zipper t-shirt, and you may have seen if you were here at the open night 2 years ago. After that, so you have your school uniform. So your first step into school then is to become part of the induction program, which is going to happen at the end of August. So basically the induction program is to help to welcome you into presentation, and our aim here is to make everybody as happy and as cared for as they can, and to help them make that transition as simple and as easy as possible for everyone. So there's certain individuals that are going to become very important for you in the first few weeks and months. So the first person you have is your class tutor. Each of the tutor classes that Mr. Ryan mentioned, like Wrong Clodagh or Wrong Baven, you have your own tutor. You'll meet them at the end of August. You get to meet that teacher every day or each day for 10 minutes. They'll help to sign your notes for you. And if you have any questions, you can ask, and then you have a longer tutor time of 20 minutes on Wednesday. So this person is the first person on your ladder of referral. It's the person that your parent contacts if they want to contact the school. It's the person you're going to ask your questions to, the person that you've contact with each day, and you can find the answers to your question. Then following on from your class tutor, you have your year head. So each group here in Presentation Wexford has their own year head, and that person has responsibility not just for disciplinary roles, but also for a pastoral role. And they link in with the attendance officer with issues around attendance. So that person will get to know you, will link in with your tutors, and are there to help you and to guide you as well over the first 3 years. One of the girls mentioned as well that they met their MEHA leaders. And at the moment, the MEHA leaders are students that we have in the school which are from 6th year. So for example, some of the girls like Jamie Elizabeth you met, they will also be MEHA leaders. And they are students who are here to guide you and look after you. Sometimes, girls, you can find it difficult to ask an adult a question at the start of the school year. So maybe in September, October, you may be more comfortable around asking a 6th-year student. So each of the tutor classes will be assigned anything from 3 to 6 girls, which will link in with you every single day around lunchtime or at little break, and they will organize different activities. So in the beginning, they do small class groups to help you get to know each other. Usually have an activity for midterm break, or you have an activity or party around Christmas time. So it's an opportunity for you to get to know older students, to ask them questions. And they also they're very, very busy between September to December. But after that, then you are on your own 2 feet. Usually you don't need them as much. But they're girls, even when you're in 6th year, you will actually remember your MEHA leader and help and look after you and guide you. One other group Mr. Ryan mentioned was the Students' Council. So in school, we have a very active Student Council. There's 2 students from each year group on the Students' Council, so there's 2 representatives. So you need to look out for that election. And the lady in charge of that at the moment, Ms. Kavanagh, will actually talk to you. You'll be in election. You can put your name forward. So the idea, like Jamie said originally, was for to link in with the senior management team in the school or senior leadership team, and to actually help you different ideas. For example, the girls in recent years have had a water fountain, they've done health initiatives, and they've got the colour of the nail varnish changed, and they've even done multicultural events. So there's different activities there, but it's there for student voice. All right, one thing that the first years always ask around is their locker. So girls, your lockers are what we call the first year corridor. They're upstairs. We have invested in nice colourful lockers for the first years. So basically, if you have any valuables, you can leave in your lockers. If you want to, the idea is you do not carry around all your books, your copies. You have your iPad. So therefore, if you have your copies and books, you can leave them in the morning time. You can come back at 11 o'clock break, at lunchtime, at the end of the school day. As we'll see in a minute, we have a code of behaviour, and part of that code of behaviour is your mobile phone is switched off, and it's left either in your locker or in your bag. It's powered off. Next thing then we have also, following on from your lockers, is we have a code of behaviour. The code of behaviour exists in the school to create an atmosphere where everybody is secure and safe and everybody can actually learn. And we're part to build a sense of belonging, a sense of school community. Like Mr. Ryan said, one of the Kesht core values, respect. So respect of each other, of property, of all members of staff. That is very important, and it underpins the whole code of behaviour. Code of behaviour only works, like Mr. Ryan said, it's all stakeholders. So it's the student, it's their parents, their home, their guardian, and also all the members in the school community. So we all work together, and the idea is to build a sense of pride and a sense of community that Elizabeth and Jamie spoke about. The code of behaviour is set out in expectations. So whether it's your homework, whether it's been in school on time, if students don't follow the expectations, they have sanctions. Of course, we don't expect any first-year students to end up with detentions or in-school or out-of-school suspensions, but they are there and they're necessary. The code of behaviour, girls, you sign with your parent, you sign it yourself, and also with your tutor. And as I said, the main reason for a code of behaviour is to allow to foster a sense of community in the school. Everybody is responsible, and good manners never go out of fashion. Please and thank you are always the magic words, and you'll see lots of posters around your classroom where people have words like, you use the word sorry, you're welcome, thank you, and they are very important. All right, so girls, you are coming to the end of 6th class. So what I'm going to say is enjoy the remainder of your journey that's left there. Stay safe and well over the next few months. I look forward to welcome you in person in August. It may be a cliche, but to start the new adventure, to start the new chapter in your school life. And one bit of advice I would give you, like the girl said, try everything, go outside your comfort zone. Think of that list of extracurricular activity that Mr. Ryan has mentioned. We are all here to help you. Try to get involved. And remember, you're the exact same as everybody else. Some people are very good at hiding it. We all have the same fears and worries. And I wish you the best. And I'm going to pass on to Miss C. Ryan, that our Deputy Principal.
Thank you, Miss Dooley. Miss Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Thanks, Miss Dooley. Good evening, everyone. I'm just here to talk to you about a couple of things that may be a little bit different in secondary school compared to what you're used to in primary school, and how I suppose they operate within Presentation Wexford. First of all, is our system of positive behaviour system. And we believe in positive reinforcement to recognise and encourage good effort from our students. It's a very successful system, and the students all the way up to 6th year are very keen, I suppose, to get points in this system. It's an online system in which teachers are able to award points to students. Everyone starts at 100 points, and the hope is that all students go upwards from there. I'll talk about it if it's negative, but for the most part, our experience is most of our students attain mainly positive points, and certainly that's true in first year. And I don't think this coming year is going to be any different. Parents also have access to this system through the VSware system, which you will get login details from when your child starts. And in this system, the student can attain points for the following things: for excellent work, and this is based on effort, not just on marks achieved; for any civic spirit like volunteerism, helping out, manners, politeness, if they've gotten involved in something outside extracurricular or helped to run something within the school, and also teamwork. So it is a very successful system. Students also achieve badges when they reach a certain level of points, and also there are prizes to be won periodically through the years. It's very popular and works very well. There is, of course, because there is a positive side, a negative side, which we hope there won't be too many of, but just to encourage again, good behaviour. Points can be taken off for disruption in class, or talking, or homework not being done, or lack of class materials. And of course, all of that can be avoided by getting very organised, as our students would have said at the very start. And that's something that at the start of first year, teachers are very very willing to allow a little bit of leeway with first years and to allow them to get used to the system. So this is roughly what it looks like within the VSware dashboard, where green represents the positive points and red the negative points. Unfortunately, this student is probably not doing great on the positive, but I can imagine that yours is going to look an awful lot different to that. So moving on from there then, we look at students' responsibility. So our motto is our best always, and we want each student to receive a holistic education. So that's not just in academics. We also believe in development in the person in terms of giving our students leadership positions within the school. And that goes all the way from first year all the way up to sixth year and our head girl team. There are lots of opportunities there. Also within sport, music, art, there are lots of different opportunities depending on what your talent or area of interest is. We encourage our students to be ambitious, to always put forward their best effort, to have respect for their own property and for others' property, to come prepared to school, and that takes a little bit of time at the start of first year, but then as students get used to what they need each day, it just becomes habit and rote. But it makes for a much easier school day if you come prepared with everything and you're not worried then. We encourage our students to be in school every day because attendance means that they're able to achieve in their subject areas, and also for everybody to have a positive experience in school, to abide by the code of behaviour. To help support students, we have a special education team. Now, we have a core team of coordinators, and the teachers there are listed there: Miss Bradshaw, Mr. Brophy, Miss Carr, Miss Kern, Miss Stenning, and Miss Sunderland would be part of the SET team. But these are also supported by a team of subject teachers, where if there is help or support needed in a particular curricular area, we would have subject teachers, and also we have a team of SNAs to support students who need that extra support within the school. So who is this for, and what students does this apply to? This is students who may have had some learning difficulties in primary school, or who struggled with certain areas of the curriculum. Students who are sometimes referred by teachers. So our teachers will sometimes identify a student who is having a particular difficulty within a subject, and they will be, sometimes we look back at testing, which I'll talk about in a moment, or to see if there's extra support that student could benefit from and we can provide. They may be students who need to improve in their literacy, comprehension, or math skills. This is often very successful and allows students to access parts of the curriculum which they may have found challenging before this. Students who have significant special educational needs, which may be diagnosed, and also where students for whom English is not their first language can also receive support there. So, how are these students identified? Well, it's based on a Department of Education Continuum of Support guidelines. The support that's provided is needs-based, so it depends on what the student needs and how we can best help the student. They may have been diagnosed with an identified special education need, maybe dyslexia or something like that. Every year, we also assess the first year group, and based on that testing, we can also look at if there are needs in literacy or numeracy or comprehension, and that would also form the basis of offering support. And also then, if information has come in on whether a student normally would receive support in literacy, writing, or in numeracy skills as well. So if a student is identified in needing this, and this may come, as I said, through testing, through information from their teachers, or if they've already received support in primary school, I know some of you have already gotten in contact with the school to let us know that, and you may have been spoken to already by Miss Dooley or else by a member of the special education team. If you haven't done that already, we would encourage you to do so, because that gives us more information and allows us to better support your child when they do start in presentation. So if that's the case, we always involve parents if we are going to offer some support to their child. The student is also involved in that, and we would do with agreement with the student because they need to be on board with this. The support is offered in many different forms. It may be ongoing for the full term that the student is with us. It may be a short-term intervention, which I said allows them to access parts of the curriculum, and then they may move on from that. There is sometimes in-class support in the form of team teaching, in which another teacher will support the main teacher and help students that are struggling. It could be in small group supports where they would work on a particular item or aspect of the curriculum, or that support may take a form of one-to-one. Sometimes students are withdrawn from subjects for a block of time if they have a particular need. And as we have said, the support is needs-based and it does change with time. The hope is that students receive support, particularly if it's short term, and from then on don't necessarily need to go on with that support in subsequent years. So if you have any questions or if you have any concerns about your child, I would encourage you to contact the school if you haven't done so already. So moving on, your child will study the new junior cycle. This was introduced on a phased basis over the last number of years, with the first cohort of students to sit the junior cycle in all their subjects in 2022. So your child will study all subjects as part of the new junior cycle. Now, this, I suppose, has been developed by the NCCA in order to be more student-friendly, more student-centered, and to develop skills. The idea is that students will become better learners and will learn how to learn. So it's not a matter of just passing on knowledge, but also being able to use that knowledge. It provides a solid foundation for further study in their Leaving Cert and beyond to third level. The idea is that it will develop skills for learning and for life, and to support learning through reporting to both students and teachers. And there's regular reporting in the junior cycle throughout the time that the student is studying this. So there are core principles of this new junior cycle. It focuses on learning to learn rather than just imparting knowledge, so the student can access the knowledge and know how to use it. There is a great deal of choice and flexibility, particularly within classroom-based assessments, where quite often the student is able to choose the course of study or the aspect of the topic that they're going to follow. There is a high quality of education because it is student-centered and involves a lot of participation with the student. It involves a great deal of creativity and innovation because the student themselves is allowed to develop and do the research. Higher levels of engagement and participation. Classrooms have changed a great deal now. They're much noisier because there's more interaction from the student rather than just the teacher at the top of the classroom imparting whatever knowledge they have on the subject. There is continuity and development throughout the 3 years. It's inclusive because there are levels based on the student's ability, and well-being is a key feature of the new junior cycle program. And in fact, now in well-being, the student will study different aspects, but it takes 400 hours over the entire 3 years of junior cycle. So why is there such a focus on well-being? Well, the student well-being is key in order for them to realize their abilities and in order for them to be able to access the different challenges that are presented within secondary school and in life themselves. It encourages them to take care of their physical well-being and to cope with the normal stresses of life, being resilient, and gives them a sense of purpose and a recognition that they belong to a wider sense of the community. So how is student achievement? How is it assessed at junior cycle? Well, the release of junior cycle results still takes place. There is a final exam in subjects, but these are supported by projects and classroom-based assessments as well. So from really next year on, all students will have junior cycle profile of achievement. Now, our current junior cycle students, had the formal junior cycle been taking place, would have again sat a terminal exam, but would also have results within their classroom-based assessments. So there are subject CBAs, as we call them, short courses available, and this involves also other learning experiences. So in the reporting now, there is a section to allow and to explain what kind of extracurricular activities or other things that the student has become involved in over the course of the 3 years. The grading system has also changed. So when they sit the examination, they're graded in the following way. Distinction is over 90, follows down then from higher merit, merit, achieved, partially achieved, and then not graded. For classroom-based assessments, which usually there's 2 in all subjects, and these are graded by the department of teachers who teach within the school. These are graded based on exceptional, above expectations, in line with expectations, yet to meet expectations, and then obviously if a student didn't submit, a classroom-based assessment would be not reported. Most students are expected to be in line with expectations, which really means that they are where they should be for their age, and then obviously with extra effort or more research, they can achieve those higher grades as well. The junior cycle profile of achievement looks like this. Now, this is one of the first ones that probably the style that would have come out. Ones that your child will receive, you can see over on the left there is the list of subjects. Now, because this was a mix of the old junior cert and junior cycle, it only has one of the subjects with the new grading, but with your child, all of the subjects will have the new grading. You then have the classroom-based assessments on the top right-hand side. And again, there are 2 in all of the subjects that she studies. And then the other areas of learning are to do with extracurricular and other things she's been involved in. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Miss Ryan. Okay, Miss Redmond.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to just give you a very brief overview of the iPad program here in the presentation. So just to show you, we use an educational company in Dublin called Wriggle, and they provide us with the iPads that are fully installed and ready for you to use when you start in August and September. Now, they create an Apple ID that has your email and all the apps installed, but it's a managed device. So only the apps that we request to have installed on the iPad are installed. This means that it allows your daughter to use the iPad for educational purposes, and anything else she wants to do, she can do on the family phone or whatever device she has. Now, when we talk about why we use iPads, well, we're 8-9 years into our journey at this stage of using iPads, and we've seen a massive increase in the benefits. And I suppose, if anything, the whole year we've just had when it came to COVID, it has massively shown us how important iPads are in the learning, the communication, the contacting teachers, or say your daughter couldn't make a class. She can get all the information online afterwards. She can watch videos over and over. And as you see in the next slide, you'll see all the benefits popping in, because what we've seen is that teachers can create content. Say it's a science experiment, and they can record themselves doing the experiment, and your daughter can watch this experiment over and over and over again until they finally understand what's happening. Now, in the old system, maybe in class, your daughter might be too nervous or shy to put up her hand and ask a question, but now suddenly they have this device that they can watch, pause, take down notes, and then they can actually understand what the teacher was talking about. When it comes to the actual subjects and all, an awful lot of our students now are using the iPad to create the actual Word or PowerPoint projects for CBAs, like Ms. Ryan just talked about. They actually record themselves in languages. They can hear their pronunciation. They can hear what the teacher is saying about how a word is pronounced, and then they can practice it again. So when you look at the iPad, apart from the fact that it is your daughter's school bag, it's going to have all the books, installed onto it. It's actually a camcorder, it's a voice recorder. I mean, it's incredible the amount of apps that we install now that students can learn in so many different ways. So how do you get your iPad? Well, what you need to do is you need to go to www.wriggle.ie, okay? And when you go to wriggle.ie, you're going to see the options. Now, the first thing you see here on screen is that the iPad that we strongly recommend is the 128 gigabyte iPad, okay? I cannot stress this enough to you. The iPad you get for your daughter, please God, will last her a minimum of 3 years up to the junior cert, and please God, the 6 years or 5 years up to her leaving cert. If you choose an iPad with less memory, you're really talking about an iPad after 4 or 5 years that becomes very difficult to use. There's an awful lot of data being stored. They have projects, they have video files, and it becomes very, very slow. And I suppose it's like our phones. You know yourself after 2 or 3 years, your phone just slows down. When you contact Wriggle, you will get an option to buy a case. They have a kind of a hard resistant case that's, please God, going to save your iPad from bangs or scratches or anything like that. And the insurance. Now, we strongly recommend you use the insurance because accidents happen. We always tell our students where to put their iPads, how to be careful, but how many of your daughters or yourselves have a cracked phone at the moment? Things happen to the iPads. So the purchase of the iPad then will take place, as I said, if you go online to wriggle.ie and you go through all the options of what you need to buy. Now, at the moment, we're thinking that the online store with Wriggle will open around May. Now, they still have to confirm the date, but they're trying to do it a little bit earlier this year. Now, if you see on the next slide, you'll need a unique code, and the code is for the school. And again, all this information will be available if you miss anything later on. But when you go to wriggle.ie, you put in the school code and it opens up our online store. They've slightly changed things. So this year you'll only buy the iPad and all the apps and everything from Wriggle. And you can buy the books that will be released on the book list to you from either Bookhaven, which is an online store, or you can go downtown and buy the books yourself. It allows you then to split your bill a wee bit, that you get the iPad bought first, and then in the summer you can buy books. Again, there is one slight thing here about buying books is make sure you buy a book that has the code on the inside cover that hasn't been redeemed. If you get passed on a book from another person, the ebook is gone. And the whole point that we use iPads in school is that they don't need to bring the paper books into school. They stay at home. God forbid the Wi-Fi drops or you have no electricity some evening. Your daughter has a paper book at home and the ebook is what they use in school, okay? During your purchase, these iPads will be sent to your own home address. You'll probably get them, depending on how early you buy your iPad, you'll get them early August to late August. So when your daughter comes into school, we will then just have the induction days. We'll show them how to use the iPad, how to install books if they haven't used them already or installed them already. And, you know, it allows your daughter just to settle and get you the actual iPad. Now, as you saw there, BYOD. BYOD is what we call bring your own device. Usually at this time of the year, when I'm talking to first years and your parents, a lot of students don't have iPads, and we're becoming very aware in the last year with COVID that maybe you've gone out and had to buy an iPad because of remote learning. So if you do have an iPad, okay, I would love to stress this again. Please just check, how old is your iPad? Will it last your daughter a minimum of 3 or 6 years? Now, if it's a brand new one, okay, and has good storage and all, that's okay. But you'll know yourself, if it's already 2 or 3 years old, in 6 years' time, it will be 9 years old. So if you bring your own iPad to school, it needs to come into the school in May, end of May to start of June, because Wriggle will organise a courier who picks up all the iPads and they bring it to Dublin. And as you see here on the next slide, they have to be in Dublin for at least 30 days. This is to get the management profile installed and to get all the apps installed, also to transfer onto the new system. Okay, so please just bear that in mind, that maybe you're thinking of buying an iPad yourselves in May or June. Well, it has to be in the school first. The iPad then will be posted home to you, and it'll have all the apps. It'll have your daughter's iPad email on it, and it'll be ready for you then to install the textbooks that you will buy during the summer yourself. So please God, when your daughter comes to us in August, your iPad is set up, the books are installed, and everything's ready for you to go. Any questions, you can ask them later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edmund. Mr. Nugent.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Good evening, everybody. My name is Damian Newton. I'm one of the guidance counsellors here in the presentation in Wexford Town. Along with my colleague, Miss Kavanagh, we're here to support students from 1st to 6th year. For us, our school is about a place for teaching and learning here at the presentation. We want to support your daughter as best that we can to learn in a supporting environment. So, how do we do that? On the next little slide there, our department helps support students in 3 separate but interlinked areas: education, personal, and career guidance. Education would be helping students with choosing subjects, subject levels, study skills. Careers would be exploring the world of work, matching subjects with different careers, and personal then would be when a student's learning is affected by personal or family issues, that's when we would support students. How do we do that? You can see it there: individual counselling, small group counselling, class work, and year group work. Okay, on the next little sheet then, on our next slide, you'll see then the services that we provide. We would work with students transitioning from primary school into post-primary and adjusting to our school, making friends, looking at homework, new subject, new routines. And we would also be meeting with parents to help support those students that are coming into our school. So looking forward to seeing everybody at the end of August and in September.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. Okay. So we're just coming to the end. So I'd just like to finally say that as principal here in the school, my door will always be open, hopefully post-COVID. I, along with all your teachers and Miss Dooley and Miss Ryan, who are part of the senior leadership team, and all members of staff in school, from teachers to SNAs, to cleaners, to admin staff, to caretakers, we're all looking to welcome you girls and to join a community in a challenging and positive environment at the moment, and always upholding the values on which we were founded. Exciting new subjects here in the school as well for you to choose in the future. We've Leaving Cert PE and we've Leaving Cert Politics and Society. We now offer 18 subjects at Leaving Cert level, and I look forward to welcoming your daughters and you girls over the course of the next 6 years. On behalf of the school, I'd like to thank you for choosing the school as the place where you will spend your teenage lives. And in hindsight, your parents and your grandparents will tell you they are the best days of your life when you look back on them, and they go too quick, and you might find that a bit strange right now. By the end of your time here, I sincerely hope that each and every one of you will have developed into that holistic student I mentioned earlier on, and one that we can all be proud of, and that you will go on a new journey into life, whether that's 3rd level, into an apprenticeship, or into work, whatever your road takes you. And we hope that you strive to do your best, not only in school, but in life in future. And we will only be a small section of that journey with you. So there's questions and answers. If you want to type them, or if there have been any questions typed in there, now is the time. If you have anything that you want to ask privately, you can contact, I think Miss Dooley has been in touch with all firsters at this stage. Have they all got your email address at this stage, Miss Dooley?
Yes, all the parents would have received 3 messages at this stage, and they all have my email address.
Brilliant. So they all have. So if you have any questions, you can contact Miss Dooley by that email address. Or you can ring the school and you can ask for myself, or you can ask for Miss Dooley, or you can ask for Miss Ryan, or you can ask for Mr. Olsen there as well, who is primary school liaison, and your year head next year would be Miss B. Murphy as well. So you could also ask for her, so she'll be looking after you next year. Are there any questions for the forum? Are there any questions in the chat, Mr. Rolston?
No questions, Mr. Ryan. I think you answered everything.
Perfect. So it's lovely to see some faces over there, and we look forward to seeing those faces again. End of August. I keep mentioning September. It's not September anymore. The days of going back to school on the 1st of September are well gone. So what will actually happen is that we'll see you the end of August, but we'll be telling you that at some stage. It's usually kind of around the 24th, 25th, or 26th. We usually try to get the first years into the building on their own for a few days without everybody else, so that you don't get crushed or you don't get caught in the corridors or people don't bump into you and so on. And remember, girls, all those 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd years were first years like you at one stage, so they know exactly what you're going through. Okay, so remember that.
Mr. Ryan, just a quick question coming in there about after school study.
Yeah, very eager, aren't they? After school study is available. We don't really encourage it for first years, because the day is long enough, girls. You're going from a shorter day at primary school into a longer day at secondary school, and after school study usually goes on till about 6 o'clock in the evening, some days 5:30. So we don't really encourage it for first years, but it is certainly available for all other year groups. But if there's a case that you need something like that, you know, you can talk to us about that near the time. Okay. So unless there's anything else, what we can do is this has been recorded, and I'll be sending it onto the website as soon as I can. It won't happen immediately because I haven't had my dinner yet, and I have to have my dinner before I put it up on the website. And we will send a text to you from VSware. I think some of you have been getting those texts, but hopefully all of you have been getting those texts. And this presentation will also be put up on the website as well after my dinner, not right now. So look, I look forward to seeing you in person, not virtually, and to actually speak to you properly, because this is very, very strange and it's not how we want to do things, but we would like to see you all in person in the gym at the end of August. So until then, have a very, very good evening, and we look forward to seeing you then. All right, thank you. God bless. Good night.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.